quick show of, well, I was gonna say quick show of hands, but it's a little hard to do that. But if you could drop it in the chat box, I'm always interested to see, what users we have out there that have been on the system for quite some time. Is this a room full of brand new users? Do we have anybody that's really experienced in BuildPro or perhaps Supply Pro? So I always kind of like to get a good feel of what type of experience the room has. So if you don't mind, go ahead and drop in the chat box, and let's see if we have any really experienced users out there. I'd like to see that. Not all at once. Well, all right. Keep that a secret, no problem. All right, guys, but I think it's safe to go ahead and start. It's 4 minutes past the hour. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and reintroduce myself. I want to say thank you to everybody for joining us today on the webinar. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about how Hyphen Solutions can really help as far as bridging the gap between home builders and suppliers, specifically with real-time communication. So my name is Mario Ramirez. I work for Hyphen Solutions, have worked for Hyphen Solutions for almost 5 years. To give everybody a little bit of background on who I am and where I come from. So I've worked at Hyphen for the last 4 years, about a little bit over 4 years in implementation. So I've implemented BuildPro and Supply Pro for builders of all sizes and complexities, really, across the United States and Canada. Wouldn't be surprised if some of you on this webinar probably know my face. So I want to say sorry about that. But, with that being said, I've recently transitioned over to sales, helping out a lot in terms of the demo side of things and making sure that clients are getting exactly what they need. So just kind of wanted to give everybody a little bit of background on who I am, where I come from, and how I ended up in this role. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So my goal for today is to show you guys how using BuildPro we can really leverage the software to make sure that our trades have exactly the information they need to have in front of them, exactly when you intend for that information to be in front of them. As you know, those of you that already use the system know, the communication between BuildPro and Supply Pro is instant. As soon as one of your construction managers or really anybody on the BuildPro side releases something to the trade, Supply Pro instantly receives that message. Let's go ahead and look at a couple of different ways that we can do that as far as scheduling goes, payment goes, sharing documents, and what different type of schedule management tools you're going to have within. Within today's webinar, I'm also going to show you guys a little bit about out-of-the-box reporting. So currently, here we go. Let me get back into BuildPro. But as a lot of you already know, BuildPro, once it's implemented right out of the box, you guys are going to have access to Report Connect. So we'll talk a little bit about that later on in the presentation. But right now, what I want to get started on is going to be the back and forth between BuildPro and Supply Pro. So I didn't really get any responses as far as experience with anybody on the call. So I'm going to go ahead and approach this as if everybody on the call is brand new to BuildPro. So as you know, what we're looking at here is this is a hypothetical schedule that a construction manager is assigned. Once that construction manager receives the job, they are able to see it, they're able to work on it and start releasing those orders to the suppliers. So just to give everybody a little bit of heads up as far as how I intend to run this presentation, what I have pulled up here, as you can see, this is BuildPro, and this is my demonstration account, Hyphen Builders. What I've done is I've linked this account to a demonstration Supply Pro account, which I have pulled up in the separate tab here. I'm going to go ahead and click into this tab just so that you guys can see my Supply Pro account, demo Supply Pro account. It's called Mario's Plumbing. So we're going to be releasing orders from Hyphen Builders as your home builder over to Mario's Plumbing in Supply Pro. What I want you guys to see here is that currently in my demo Supply Pro account, I have 31 brand new orders. I'm going to go ahead and refresh this just to make sure that it is actually 31. Now that we're done refreshing, here we are, 31 orders. So let's go ahead and take this back into BuildPro, and let's go ahead and start this back and forth so that you guys can see as far as real-time communication goes, how do we make sure that our trades know exactly where to be, when to be there, and what they're supposed to be doing when they're there. So what I want to get started on is let's just go ahead and go with our plumbing rough task here. I'm going to try to zoom in just a little bit, make this a little bit more manageable for you guys as I project my screen. I'm also going to go ahead and turn off my camera just for bandwidth's sake. I know all of you guys don't want to look at my face, so we'll go ahead and turn that off. And here we go. So looking here at this plumbing rough task that we have, we can see that it's already assigned to Mario's Plumbing. The task, although it has a lead date, meaning that we are supposed to release this task on May 12th, we're going to go ahead and release it now, just so that we can kind of get through the demo. Hypothetically speaking, today is May 12th. Our construction manager is alerted that, hey, you need to release this task. Let's go ahead and let it fly. So all I have to do is click start. I can scroll up to the top and hit update. Here we go. A couple of things are going to change here, right? First things first, if you notice, prior to me starting the task, we did not have this PO status here. If you can see my other tasks, foundation prep, termite pre-treat, and foundation TK, do not have any statuses because we have not released those tasks. But as soon as we release the task, we get a status of SUB for submitted, which you can hover over to get that, letting us know that, hey, BuildPro has successfully sent this order from BuildPro over to SupplyPro. Keep in mind that as far as this status is concerned, the trade might not know that the order exists yet. They haven't accepted it yet, but we're going to go through that so that you guys can see what that back and forth looks like. So now that I've released my plumbing rough task, I'm going to go ahead and click back into SupplyPro. Here we go. Back into SupplyPro. Currently we have 31 orders because I have not refreshed my page, but as soon as I refresh my page, we can see that it's hopped to 32 orders. I'm going to go ahead and click into newly received orders. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom where my new orders usually land, and here we are. Plumbing rough, specifically for 2022 Main Avenue. May I add that the SupplyPro functionality SupplyPro is very intuitive, it's very easy to pick up, and through your basic BuildPro implementation, we make sure that all of your trades are trained up on SupplyPro and know how to use it. As a slight side note, SupplyPro is very popular these days. Coming from my experience in implementation, typically when we showed up to implement a builder for BuildPro, it was not strange or it wasn't unusual that 65 to 80% of their trade base was already using SupplyPro. Those are pretty standard numbers, so keep that in mind. A lot of your trades are already using the system and know how to use it. But taking a couple steps back, talking about the back and forth, remember that I'm going to click back into BuildPro. We just released plumbing rough, right? We released it from the BuildPro side of things and we got the status for SUB. I'm going to click back into SupplyPro. We found our order. Here it is, plumbing rough for 2022 Main Avenue. I'm going to go ahead and accept this order. So I'm going to address my plumbing rough task. I can come over to select an action, and I'm going to go ahead and accept that selected order. Guys, for those of you on the BuildPro side, you do not have to know how SupplyPro works. Your trades are the ones that take care of SupplyPro. All you have to know how to work is BuildPro. But all right, so now that I've accepted that order out of the SupplyPro side of things, let's go ahead and click back into BuildPro. Our status is still SUB because I have not refreshed my page. But as soon as I refresh my page, we're gonna go ahead and go. And here we are. We can see that our status has now changed to ACK, which stands for acknowledged. Now, this is pretty great. Why? Because at this point, once your construction manager has released the order, and your trade has accepted that order in SupplyPro, that is essentially giving your construction manager peace of mind instantly, letting him know that, hey, the trade knows when and where to be and what they're supposed to be doing. Let me take this one step further for you. What your construction manager can actually do is they can click into this PO status as soon as it's created. When they click into the status, what they can do is, as you can see here, they can come in and take a look at the actual history. Now, this is really powerful for a couple of reasons. Not only are things being timestamped, for example, here we can see that Mario Ramirez out of BuildPro submitted this order on April 29th at 11:09 with 20 seconds. Yes, that's fantastic. But to take this one step further, what are we seeing? Out of SupplyPro, user Mario Ram acknowledged that order a couple of minutes later. This is incredibly powerful because now you're not just calling the trade and getting to a front desk and asking to see, hey, what user is out on site for 2022 Main Avenue, or who's doing that? You no longer have those unknowns. You're going to know exactly what user for the trade is managing your order, making it that much easier for you guys to really get clear information as to what is going on in the life cycle of this specific task. So we'll come back to the history a couple of times just to kind of show you guys how that plays out. Okay, so what have we done so far? As a construction manager for 2022 Main Avenue, we released our plumbing rough task. We sent it over to Supply Pro. Our Supply Pro user or our trade accepted that order, which then created this ACK knowledge or this ACK acknowledged status. We were able to click into that to see who accepted it, and now we're just waiting for the trade to actually complete the work. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click back in Supply Pro and let's go ahead and complete the order. Hypothetically, it's been a couple of days now, maybe even a week, and the trade is done with their plumbing rough. Here's our plumbing rough task for 2022 Main Avenue. Let's just go ahead and say that it's done. Our trade has finished it. They feel good about the work. They're going to go ahead and mark it complete so that they can get paid. So complete order. I'm going to go ahead and hit update. And let's see what sorts of changes that generates. So in Supply Pro, we've accepted, we've completed. I'm going to go back to BuildPro. It still shows ACK for acknowledge because we have not refreshed our page, but I'm going to go ahead and refresh here and check it out. Not only have we generated a new alert or a new status SHP for shipped, but your construction manager is going to receive an alert both internally and externally, letting him know that, hey, your trade has completed the work. It is now time for you to walk the lot, review the plumbing rough specifically, to make sure that it's been done correctly. This is just a little side point that I like to point out. The ball is always in the construction manager's court. Just because your trade marks a task as complete does not mean that they're immediately going to receive payment. Guys, as a builder, you are still completely in control of your schedules and in the payment cycle. Hypothetically, your construction manager goes out on site, looks at the plumbing rough task, and realizes that, okay, well, my supplier has marked it as completed, but the work is actually not done correctly. I don't like the way it's done. We're not going to mark it complete. I'm just not going to mark it complete. Let's take this one step further. I'm going to communicate in live time with my supplier, letting them know exactly why it is that their task is not complete. Okay, how do I do that? Not a problem. We're going to come here to the plus sign so that we can create a note. These notes out of BuildPro, you have the ability as a construction manager to create a note internally only for the builder's eyes, or as you can see right here slightly to the right, you also have the option to release that note to your trade. Now, let's go ahead and mark in here. Thank you for the alert, but having a hard time typing today. Thank you for the alert, but the work does not look correct. Here we go. Please revise. So this is what we can do. We can go ahead and mark the note as send to supplier, but we're not going to complete it. All right, so we've marked that note. We're going to go ahead and hit update, and off it goes. Notice our task is still showing us shipped. It's still showing the order has been completed by the supplier, but we have not actually completed the order. All right, let's go into supplier to see what the trades are seeing as the construction managers are writing notes to them. Back onto my home page of Supply Pro, we can see here orders with unread notes, 8. I can go ahead and click into my note, scroll down to the bottom, and here it is. They received that note instantly, guys. This back and forth is real-time communication. This is incredibly powerful. There is, because obviously you can pick up the phone and call them, or you can send them a text message, or you can even write them an email. But guys, none of those communication points are specific to the task at hand. Here, what we're looking at, this is specific. This is a construction manager saying, hey, I work for Hyphen Builders. I'm working within M. Ramirez community. This note is specific to 2022 Main Avenue. And to take one step further, I'm talking to you specifically about plumbing rough. Here's the note. Thank you for the alert, but the work does not look correct. Please revise. Okay. At this point, your trade can mark this note as read, letting the construction manager know back in BuildPro that the note has been read. Now, once the work has been done correctly and the construction manager feels comfortable with it, we can go ahead and mark that note as complete, or mark that task as complete. I'm going to go ahead and mark it here. I'm going to go ahead and hit update, and we'll see here in just 1 second what that looks like. All right, here we are. Plumbing rough, Mario Ramirez, completed as far as the date for the schedule shows. Well, what about the history? Can we see exactly what happened? So far, we've been looking at this construction schedule in the shoes of a construction manager. Okay, well, as a builder, we know that there's a lot more than just a construction manager managing these jobs. From a management perspective, I want to know what happened in the life cycle of this specific task. How do I do that? Not a problem. I can click here into that exact same status that we looked at earlier, right? Let me refresh this. Check it out. This is the entire history, everything that has happened in the life cycle of this task. From the moment that our construction manager, Mario Ramirez, submitted that order on April 29th at 11:09, right? To the moment that a note was sent by your user, to the moment that it was actually completed by your construction manager. There is no more he said, she said. There, you know, this is what BuildPro is fantastic at doing, aside from the real-time communication, is accountability. You guys are going to be able to track anything and everything that happens throughout your schedules. This is incredibly important. We always want to know if our schedule is doing really well, why was it? If our schedule is not doing really well, why was that? We're always going to be able to see exactly what happened within your schedules. So, all right. Now, that's just the back and forth. As you guys just saw, it's real time. We're able to communicate with our trades in way more than just the actual scheduling of the task. We're able to actually maintain conversation with them. But what happens when a task needs to be rescheduled, either from the construction manager side or from the trade side? I really quickly just kind of want to show you guys how your construction managers are able to manage their schedules real time while they're out on the field. Let's take a look here at, for example, frame trusses. As we can see, this task has already been started. We already have our status of acknowledged. We started this task hypothetically on 6/18 and we released the order. Okay, well, it is now 6:24. The trade's supposed to be on site on 6:25. And as a construction manager, we realize, man, there's way too much rain going on right now, or there's too much snow on the ground. Whatever it may be, we have to reschedule this task. How do we reschedule? Super simple. As you can see, once a task is started, we can click into the reschedule date box right here and select a date that better works for us. So we're going to go ahead and hop into June. If it's originally supposed to be on the 25th, but actually what we needed to do is switch over to the 29th. We can go ahead and select 6/29, hit update, and we're going to see that our 6/25 date will change to 6/29. Here we are, 6/29. Okay, now what does that look like on the supplier end of things? Not a problem. Let's go back into Supply Pro. Now that I've refreshed my page, check it out. Your suppliers have a specific alerts section within their homepage where they can receive all of these alerts in real time. There's absolutely no lag. The second that your construction manager or anybody on the BuildPro side of things makes an update, that is instantly communicated over to Supply Pro. No lag, this is real time. So I can click here into my order reschedules. And here we are, frame trusses for 2022 Main Avenue, an original date of 6/25, but we've now rescheduled to 6/29. Okay, hey, that works. I'm gonna go ahead and accept select as reschedule. I'm gonna go back into BuildPro, and we're good to go, right? Keeping in mind that at all times, your construction managers have the power here, right? They are the ones deciding that this wants to be rescheduled. Well, what if a trade needs to reschedule an order? That's also not a problem at all. Let's go ahead and exterior clean here, for example. I'm going to go ahead and release this exterior clean task to Mario's Plumbing with a start date of 6/21. Let's go ahead and hit update. All right. I'm going to click into Supply Pro. Let's go to our newly received orders. Scroll to the bottom. And here we are, exterior clean for 2022 Main Avenue. We just released this task. That was quick, right? So as a trade, we received this task with a scheduled date of 6/21. Well, for whatever reason, I'm not going to be able to make that date. We make it very easy for your trades to request a reschedule. Notice my emphasis on request. They are not saying, hey, we're going to go ahead and reschedule for you. It's said and done. They are requesting. Once again, the ball is always in the construction manager's court. They always have absolute control of their schedule. But here, from the supplier's perspective, the acknowledged start date is 6/21, but we're not going to be able to make that. So let's go ahead and push that to 6/24, and let's just go ahead and say vacation, so sorry. And we always train the SupplyPro users to offer a second date that works. Let me show you why. But the 25th works as well. So let's go ahead and release this, right? I'm going to come here to select an action, and I'm going to accept this order, and let's hit update. All right, that's updated. Let's go back to BuildPro, and let's refresh my page so that we can receive that reschedule request alert. Now that I've done that, I can come in here, scroll to the bottom, and look at all of this information immediately being given to our construction managers. Real time, emphasis on real time communication. So Mario's Plumbing, exterior clean. The original date was 6/21, but it looks like we've got an alert for a reschedule request by the supplier. Let's go ahead and click into that. What does this look like? All right. So your construction manager is going to have a couple of options. Once again, they have absolute control of their schedule. So here we are. For 2022 Main Avenue, specifically our exterior clean task, Mario's Plumbing has let us know that for the original date of the 21st, they're going to be on vacation, and they're sorry. But they've also let us know that the 25th works as well. So what are our options as a construction manager? Well, we can let them know essentially, so sorry, I know that you're going to be on vacation, but you better find somebody to come do the work. We need somebody there on the 21st to do the work. There are other trades depending on you to do that exterior clean. Fine. Or if our construction manager is feeling nice and we've got plenty of days within our schedule, we can go ahead and say, sure, hey, Mario's Plumbing, if the 24th works great for you, that works for me, we'll go ahead and do it. Or the reason why we train the suppliers on always offering a second date is your construction manager has the ability to select a date outside of the original and outside of the requested. Here, for example, Mario's Plumbing has let us know that the 25th also works. If, as a construction manager, we realize that 6/25 also works for us, well, hey, not a problem. We're going to go ahead and take you to June 25th. Thanks for the notice. Update. There we are. So our exterior clean from 6/21. Oh, well, so sorry. Oh, well, here we are. But as we can see, that reschedule request will be sent over to our trade, and it'll let them know that, hey, not a problem. We went ahead and we're going to go ahead and accept that reschedule request for you. So as you can see, the back and forth is easy. It's quick. You know, the communication is always there. And we make it really easy, not only for the construction manager, but also for the trades on the other end. So far, taking this kind of a couple of steps back, I always like to talk a little bit about what we've covered before I go into another segment. So what I showed you then, just now, was the easiness, the clarity, the back and forth between BuildPro and supplier, specifically the back and forth between your construction manager and your suppliers. You know, just kind of talking a little bit about how this communication is actually real time. There is no lag in the back and forth. The scheduling method that we just looked over is JME. This is one of several scheduling methods that Hyphen Solutions makes available to your construction managers. The good thing is that once you learn how to use one, all of the others kind of fall into place. One other scheduling method that I want to show you guys here today is one of our newer scheduling methods, which is drag and drop. It's proven to be really popular. Reason being is that it's a little bit more of a graphical representation of a schedule. We find that a lot of our construction managers that are really embedded in creating their schedules on a calendar have really benefited from this new scheduling method, because as opposed to having to see their schedule in a linear method, itemized list, sorry, they're able to see their schedules on an actual calendar. So let's go ahead and navigate over to drag and drop. Let me find the job that we were just looking at, 2022 Main Avenue. Here we go. And Ramirez Community, job name, 2022 Main Avenue. So a quick point that I want to make here is that you are able to work on the same job with all of the different scheduling methods. If you update a task in one scheduling method, you'll find that that update will be made visible in all of your other scheduling methods. Right? So here, for example, let me go ahead and scroll back over here for termite pre-treat. If we had started termite pre-treat or hyphen, you know what, let's just go over to June. Here we are. As you can see, exterior clean and frame trusses were tasks that we released in JME, the previous scheduling method. But those task updates took in our new scheduling method that we're looking at here, drag and drop. You can think of your jobs kind of like a document that's being updated in the cloud by several users. So it does translate from one scheduling method to the next. Now, one thing that I really like about drag and drop is the graphical representation of predication. What predication means is when we create these schedules for you, we're tying one task to the next so that as your construction manager reschedules one task, the appropriate tasks flow with it, keeping your construction manager from having to spend valuable time manually rescheduling tasks after, you know, a bad weather day or a bus or whatever it may be. Here, as you can see, I can literally click on a task and drag and move it to a different date. As I did that, I just dragged foundation prep down by a week, and all of its children tasks, the tasks that are tied to it, moved with it. I'm going to grab foundation prep, I'm going to scroll back up, and when I drop, notice that termite pre-treat moves with it. This is really powerful in terms of making sure that your construction managers understand the flow of their schedules. This very quickly shows them that, hey, this is the impact that one task can have on my entire schedule. For example, if they're going to reschedule foundation prep, they will immediately be let know that, hey, if I move foundation prep, termite pre-treat is going to move with it. But this is also helping them with the fact that they are not having to manually do this. BuildPro is going to shuffle that entire schedule for them once they reschedule that critical path task. So as you can see here, we can click into the actual task, and if we wanted to go ahead and start it, we definitely could. There you are, we've started the task, hit update, and we're good to go. Updated task successfully. Now foundation prep has been started. So just another one of the scheduling methods that BuildPro makes available to your construction managers. So guys, any questions so far on anything that we've covered? Alrighty, quiet group, not a problem. The next thing that I wanted to cover here is document management, but more importantly, document management from the perspective of real-time communication. As a builder, when you upload a document, how long does that document take to make it to the trade's eyes? Does that even make it to the trade's eyes? What else can we do with that document? And as a trade, when I receive that document, what can I do with it? How fast am I going to receive it? What can I do with it? If I need to respond to something, can I? Or if I need to upload a document as a trade, am I able to do that while making sure that the builder can see it in BuildPro? Well, the answer is yes to all of that, but I want to show you guys what that looks like. So let's go ahead and head back over to JME. I remember that what I'm doing in JME, you can do in any of the different scheduling methods. I'm a big fan of JME. I like to be able to see my entire schedule on an easy peasy list. But from a documents perspective, check it out. What we're looking at here is, well, it's BuildPro. We're going to look at this from the shoes of a construction manager. What I can do is once I'm here within my job, I can see that I'm at 2022 Main Avenue. I've got my documents link right here. What I can do is I can go ahead and click into documents. And what that's going to do is it brings me directly to our job specific folder. To give you guys a little bit of background in how this works, every time that a home or a job, a home, a lot, whatever terminology you use, every time that one of those jobs is loaded into BuildPro, it creates a folder for itself within our document management module. Now, what we're looking at here is you can think of this as a organizational breakout of your company. right? As far as how this demo account is created, at the very top is Hyphen Builders, the actual company. Below that are the different regions, right? Below the regions are the different divisions, professional services being a division. And within my division, our different communities, M. Ramirez community being one of those. Well, when I break out M. Ramirez community, I can see, and sorry guys, let me go back to this so that I can show you how it takes you specifically to the job level folder. So here we see a breakout of the company, specifically underneath our community, and it takes us directly into 2022 Main Avenue. I can click into the chevron there, and it shows us that we've also created an additional folder, permits. So every single time that a home is loaded or created within BuildPro, not only is there a folder created at the home level, but you can actually create reoccurring folders. So just another example of how powerful the document management module is within BuildPro. But as a construction manager, when I click into the documents link within JME, it brings me directly into the house level folder, right? From here, let's go ahead and upload a document. Now, keep in mind, guys, these documents, you can upload these as a purchasing manager, as a construction director, as a construction manager, as whoever within your company, pending on the security roles that you give that user, will be able to upload folders to a job. All right, so here we have this. Once we click choose a file, I'm gonna just go ahead and click in documents, and let's go ahead and select this color selections document. Perfect. So now that I've selected that, I can see one file. Let's go ahead and click upload. So when I do this, we're gonna get a couple of options here. All right, this window is gonna pop up, and we're gonna be able to do a couple of different things. So right off the bat, we're able to see here, all right, documents viewable in SupplyPro. As a constructor, as a home builder, when you upload a document to a home, do you want your trades to be able to see that document in SupplyPro? Yes, leave it marked. No, uncheck it. As easy as that. But for the purposes of this demonstration, let's go ahead and show how easy it is to share a document with your trades in SupplyPro. I'm going to go ahead and leave this there as clicked. And as far as document notes go, let's just go ahead and say, oh. All right, please take a look at the color options. And here's our next little note here, notes viewable in SupplyPro. Yes, I would like for my notes to be viewable in SupplyPro. Do I want my document to be viewable to every single trade? Essentially, yes, we're going to mark it to all tasks. Or is there a specific trade or a specific task we want the document to follow? If that's the case, you can select that. I'm going to leave it at all tasks, and I'm going to go ahead and mark these as viewable in SupplyPro for the document and the notes. Let's go ahead and hit update and close. All right. So now that my document's been uploaded, we can see here color selections, a couple of different things that we can see here. The first thing that I want to point out is our history. In the same manner that we were able to see anything and everything that happens to a task, we are able to see every time a document is opened, not only when it's opened, but specifically by who it is opened by. So I'm going to click into my history here. I'm going to maximize this window. As a construction manager, it might be important for me to see which one of my either purchasing managers, construction directors, whoever it may be in management. It might be important for your construction manager to see who uploaded that document, right? In that case, very easy for them to see. They can see that this color selections document was uploaded on April 29th, specifically by user Mario Ramirez, right? Cool, great. Document is there. What about in SupplyPro? All right. So within SupplyPro, let's go ahead and head on back. I know that I'm still, and let's go ahead and head down to 2022. Oh, I can go into my to-do. 2022 Main Avenue. Let's go ahead and click into this, remembering that we are now looking at this from the perspective of a supplier. When you upload a document in BuildPro, can your suppliers see that document? Okay, so I can click here into view documents. And there it is, guys. Check it out. Color selections, the document that we uploaded via BuildPro. What about the history? From a supplier's perspective, is it perhaps important to know specifically what user at the builder uploaded that document? Hey, maybe that supplier has a good relationship with that specific construction manager or with that specific purchasing manager. And maybe it's important for them to see if it was them that uploaded the document. So as a supplier, I can click into the history of that document and check it out. User Mario Ramirez from Hyphen Builders uploaded this document on April 29th. Right? So pretty cool. Now, what about the notes? View notes. I can do that as well. Please take a look at the color options, right? Now, as a trade, let's go ahead and click into this document. All right, here's our document. We just opened it up as a trade. Color options. Okay, so what sort of history did that generate for all of us? Well, if we look at the history from the Supply Pro side, there it is. From the Supply Pro side, check it out. The document was originally uploaded on April 29th by user Mario Ramirez from Hyphen Builders. Then, on that same date, the document was read by Supply Pro user Mario Ram from Mario's Plumbing. Okay, well, that's from the trade's perspective. What about from the builder's perspective? Let's click back into BuildPro as we can see here. I'm going to refresh my page, hit continue. Here's our document. Let's take a look at the history. Same thing. From a builder's perspective, user Mario Ram in Supply Pro, employed by Mario's Plumbing, read our document on April 29th. No more he said, she said. From a construction manager's perspective, you will be able to know if your trades are reading and reviewing the documents that you are loading for them to see. Once again, offering peace of mind for the construction managers, letting them know that the trades know exactly what to do. Now, that's just the history, right? Well, what happens if after I've uploaded this document, I decide, oh, well, actually, I do not want my trade to see it. I don't want to have to go back through deleting the document, re-uploading it. I don't want to do any of that. That's okay. You click on the edit option, documents viewable in Supply Pro, update and close. And now that document will not be viewable by your trades. It's as easy as that to edit. A couple of different things that we can do here though, more things. Update, big fan of this feature. What happens when you upload a document to BuildPro? You've had several trades review it. You've generated this important history that you're relying on. So now that you realize, oh crud, I actually need to make a change to that document, but I don't want to delete the document, make the change and then re-upload it. I'm going to lose all of my history. Not a problem. You can click into your, let me show you again what I did. It's the third icon over to the right for update. I can click into that. I can click into my actual document here, and what I can do is I can edit my document without ever removing it from BuildPro. That edit will once again generate alerts letting your suppliers and your internal users know that, hey, a change has been made. That will be viewable within the history of that actual document. Really, really powerful stuff here, guys. Saving you guys time, adding accountability. You know, all of these changes are real time. You know, you're always doing your best to make sure that all parties know exactly what's going on. Now, you also have the ability here to disable that doc if you need to disable that. And you have your notes, so you'll be able to view the notes back and forth between you and the actual users. Any questions on document management, guys? How are we feeling? So far, we've talked a little bit about the back and forth, about the back and forth between BuildPro and Supply Pro, the easiness of that, the accountability on both sides of that. And we just took a look here at document management and how we can share documents either internally or externally to our trades, and also follow the history of the use of that document. So a couple of things that we've covered so far. Any questions?
No questions so far, Mario, but we did get a thank you for showing the drag and drop view. They didn't know it existed.
Not a problem. Always happy to share. All right, guys. Now
I have a question that just came in actually. Do documents need to be only stored at the job level?
Oh, fantastic question. No. Document management really, it's really nice in that you can either upload a document at the job level, or you can upload a document at the community level. As you can see, I've clicked into my community level folder, and these are all of the different documents that have been uploaded to my community. Okay, well, what about at the division level? Absolutely, you can upload documents at the division level. What about at the company level? Absolutely, you can upload documents at the company level. You can upload documents at really any level of your organizational structure. The way that the document management module works for BuildPro is essentially anytime that a new division, region, community, or home, anytime some sort of a level of structure is created, you are able to upload a document to that level of structure. Sometimes we have community specific documents. Pay attention to the curb drops, or pay attention to the dumpster drops, whatever it may be, and your trades are also able to see those documents within that category of organization. A great question.
Another question that came through, how much of this data is extrapolated from bricks?
So a lot, as far as document, are we talking about documents, or are we talking about the job level information?
They haven't said, job level.
All of it, all of the information. And let's take this back to Jamie. Really, BuildPro has the ability to operate as a standalone software, meaning that there is no integration to your ERP system, specifically Bricks or Homefront or E1 or whatever it may be that you're using. But if you are integrated to a back office system, for example, Bricks, you're able to control all of the job information right out of Bricks, right? The actual job name, if you're using plot level, if you're using phases, all of that information would be extrapolated from Bricks or your ERP system. I mean, everything, even down to options themselves, you'll be able to pull right out of your back office. Another great question.
Master schedules and tasks as well?
Say that again.
Master schedules and tasks as well?
Yeah, so your schedules are actually controlled in BuildPro. Your schedules are generated by something that we call templates. And what templates are product type specific schedules. We build those templates with you through the implementation process. The way that it works is within these templates, and let's just go ahead and show you guys kind of at a high level. When we create these templates, what we do is we categorize each one of these tasks as either a purchase order, a memo, or a reminder. For your purchase order specific tasks, what we do is we assign them to cost codes. Those cost codes are what you guys use to allocate all of your different budget level items within your schedules. So for example, when you create a purchase order in Bricks for termite treatment, you're going to create that purchase order and assign it a specific cost code out of your cost code list. When you create all of those different purchase orders for a specific job, you assign a construction start date to that job, and you export that collection of purchase orders to BuildPro. BuildPro receives that collection of purchase orders along with a construction start date, and what it does is it starts plugging in, if foundation prep is cost code 123, and you created a purchase order for foundation prep under cost code 123 in Bricks, when that lands in BuildPro, that purchase order will assign itself to the task here, allowing your construction manager to use that task not only for scheduling, but also for payment reasoning, sorry. Does that kind of answer that question? Hope so.
Yeah, it seems to be all the questions. Yeah, he says thank you. So you can keep going if you'd like.
Alrighty. Guys, and as far as real-time communication, we've shown a little bit about the back and forth in the schedule. We showed a little bit about the actual documents and how we can do that back and forth. Really, the last thing that I wanted to cover with you guys that isn't so much in regards to real-time communication, but it's definitely in regards to real-time reporting, is going to be our Report Connect feature. Now, Report Connect is out-of-the-box reporting, meaning that this is something that is going to come with your BuildPro package. It doesn't require any additional setup for the most part. And as soon as you start generating data within your BuildPro account, meaning that you've started tasks, you've completed tasks, you've completed homes, you start to generate data that BuildPro is immediately able to report off of via the Report Connect app. Now, Within Report Connect, as you can see here, every single one of these different items is an actual report that you can run. What I've done is I've already pulled a couple of sample reports just to kind of show you guys the power of out-of-the-box reporting within BuildPro. What we're looking at here is a construction progress to report, one of many progress reports that you can run out of BuildPro. Here, let me zoom in a little bit more for you guys. We can see at the job level, right? So for subdivision Amstel's job number, all of this is coming from bricks, the specific address, if there's already a purchaser assigned, phase, lot, plant, elevation, swing, all of this information is immediately being pulled out of BuildPro. So more importantly, from a management perspective or as a construction manager, you are very quickly able to see how your homes are progressing at a 30,000 foot level, right? So here we can see immediately how are we doing as far as days ahead or behind in construction. We can see here that this particular job is right on schedule. This job is 3 days ahead of schedule, and this job is 2 days behind schedule, right? We can see the task that they are currently on. Where are they in construction? When was that last milestone completed? What stage are they in? How many purchase orders total have been paid out so far? And percent of tasks complete. Now, this is just one small example of the reports that you guys can pull right out of BuildPro. I've got a couple of others here. For example, is our home status report, just another graphical representation of how your homes are progressing. We can see here revision days added, percent of activities complete, and so forth. So out of the box reporting for BuildPro is pretty powerful. It works really well. But keep in mind that something that we're not going to cover today that we also offer is dashboards. Dashboards has been a very popular feature for us. If any of you guys are familiar with Power BI, our new dashboards module is based off of Power API, and it's able to create really graphical, really accurate reports for you guys. So that's something that maybe we can cover in a different webinar, but something that I definitely wanted to bring up. Alrighty, guys, looks like we've got about 10 minutes left. I've covered pretty much everything that I wanted to cover with you guys today. What I wanted to do is open up the floor for questions. So go ahead and shoot.
Okay, our first question is there a way for trades to see orders before they are actually released to them, or does the construction manager have to sit in order for them to see?
Release that order? Yeah, that's a great question, a question that we oftentimes get asked. Absolutely. This is actually probably one of my favorite features out of SupplyPro, and I think it's incredibly powerful. You can see it almost as a forecasting report. So what we have in SupplyPro is a report called your future orders report. Now, as we can see right here, what your trades are able to do is, as long as a task has been assigned to them, let me go back into BuildPro to show you guys what I mean. Now, because my demonstration account is not integrated to an actual back office, we see that the grand majority of my tasks are self-supplied. Reality is, for those of you that are going to be integrated to your back office, which is almost all of you, as soon as a job is loaded into BuildPro, all of your tasks are already going to be assigned to a trade. Here, for example, cornice package drop, we have not started this task. Nothing has happened here, right? As far as, best practices for BuildPro are concerned, this task should not be released until 7/13, right? That's 3 months away. So technically, your trade would have no way of knowing that they need to order more cornice or whatever it may be. So from a forecasting perspective, how can your trade know how to be better prepared? Well, what we've offered in SupplyPro is this future orders report. What this future orders report does is it allows your trades to see up to 90 days into the future if there are tasks that have already been assigned to them, but have technically not been released to them. Now, we tell our trades, hey guys, you just got to make sure that if you're planning on going ahead and buying additional material to cover these tasks, it's probably a good idea to reach out to your builder to make sure that that is actually going to be assigned to you. As we all know in the construction world, things change fast, and sometimes trades get switched out of tasks. But from a forecast perspective, this is a very, very powerful tool for your trades. Now, I can't name specific builders, but I can tell you that a lot of the largest builders in the nation use this report, a lot with their trades and essentially release all of these tasks 60 days out in advance, and they require their trades to look through that forecast report to make sure that they're going to be ready to show up on site with labor and material ahead of time. This, not only does this reduce dry runs, but this is also going to make sure that you guys always have the material and the labor when you need it. Incredibly powerful report. Great question.
Another question. Would a supplier technically be able to upload a document and make it viewable for the builders in BuildPro?
Okay, another good question. Absolutely. So let's take a look at that. Similar to what we just did in the document section when we were going back and forth, let me go to our to-do orders since I know that we've got some there. And we're going to stay within 2022 Main Avenue. So let's just go with, I don't know, for exterior clean. I'm going to click here into my task. And let's just assume that for Mario's Plumbing, we've got an exterior clean task, and there is a document, a draft that we need to upload to make viewable to the builder. Not a problem. Same process. We can click into view documents. So it doesn't look like we have any documents loaded from here, but as a trade, I can absolutely upload a document here, right? Same process that we saw within BuildPro. I can hit upload, hit OK, and there it is. Right. So same process as a builder. When we uploaded, we had the option to make that document viewable to trades or to just keep it internal. Your trades will also have the same option. When they upload a document to a home, they have the option to only keep it internal, or they can actually make this document viewable in BuildPro. They can also share notes. Here we go. Update and close. We've got an options sheet that's been uploaded. Let's go back to BuildPro to see if that holds true. 2022, yep, Main Avenue. Click into documents. There it is. Here's our options sheet, right? And if we look at the history, there it is. This document was uploaded on April 29th by user Mario Ram, employed by Mario's Plumbing. So absolutely, in the same way that a builder can upload a document and share notes, your trade is also able to do the exact same thing. Another good question.
Another question. Do you have to use Internet Explorer for BuildPro, and what about for reporting?
Oh, I don't know who asked that, but please tell them specifically for me. Thank you for asking that. Great question. So that's actually something that we've, and I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. A lot of people were not a fan of the fact that BuildPro relied heavily on Internet Explorer. About 80% of BuildPro operated just fine on other web browsers, but reporting specifically was one of the last things that we were working on getting over to all other web browsers. But I am happy to tell you guys that as of last Friday, Hyphen Solutions is now able to be used in its full entirety, 100% on any web browser that you would like. As you can see, I'm currently using Google Chrome, and I'm able to run reports, and I've been running the entire website. So thank you to whoever asked that. That's something that I'm very happy about, you know, to finally be able to get away from Internet Explorer. So Safari, Chrome, whatever you guys want to use, you'll be able to use 100% of both BuildPro and SupplyPro out of whatever web browser you want to use. So glad somebody asked that.
Awesome, Mario. Well, it looks like that's all the questions that we have at this time. You want to go ahead and put up the contact slide for everyone?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me go ahead and place this guy back up here. Guys, and what we're going to go ahead and display here is, whoops. All right. So what we're displaying now, this is just kind of a general contact number. If you guys are interested in and maybe receiving a little bit more of an in-depth demo, if you liked what you saw today, or if you want to go ahead and start exploring, you know, what would work best for your company, go ahead and give us a call here, and we'll put you in contact with the appropriate sales representative, and we'd be more than happy to help you guys out.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Thank you, Mario, for putting on such a great pro webinar and demo. I know it was really helpful to me and very exciting and fun. So if anybody else has any questions, feel free to email us or call us on the number on the screen. We'll get you in contact with the right people. And this recording will be sent out to each of you after the webinar and also be available on our website.
That's right. Awesome. Well, thank you, Tyler. I appreciate you hosting this. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time to visit with us and to look through what Hyphen has to offer you.
Absolutely. Everybody have a great day.
All right. Thanks so much, guys. Bye-bye.